Welcome to your Read Aloud for Wednesday, April 1st. We're going to be doing November Part 2. So, you have 7 questions today. What are the American folk songs supposed to do? How did Merrill Lee get revenge on Holling? What does Holling say pied ninny means? How many questions were on the Tempest test? What did Holling's test look like? What did Holling remember when he saw the cream puffs? What does Holling get a part in? Your report, Mr. Petrelli continued to the class, can be on, I whispered the toads, beetles, bats one here, and I got it just right. In chorus, Miss Violet of the Very Spiky Heels, the Very Spiky Heels line isn't Shakespeare, it's from Danny Hupfer. Miss Violet of the Very Spiky Heels figured we had way too many altos, and she told me to move forward to sing the melody with the sopranos. Me? I said. You have a lovely, clear voice, Holling. I can't sing soprano. Of course you can, said Miss Violet. Just reach for the upper notes. I gave my tenor music, to Danny Hupfer. You have a lovely, clear voice, Holling, he said. Pied ninny, I told him. Merrill Lee made room for me on her music stand. You didn't know you could sing like a girl, did you? She said. Blind mole, a wicked dew from unwholesome den drop on you. I said. I was getting good at making combinations. Merrill Lee grabbed my arm. What did you say? Miss Violet of the Very Spiky Heels tapped her baton for silence. Then she raised her hands and waved them grandly, and we began a melody of American folk songs, which are supposed to make your heart swell patriotically. And that's number 1. I tried to look like I cared a whole lot about reaching for the high notes, of which there were more than enough. Merrill Lee still held my arm. What did you say? She asked again. I'm just a poor, wayfaring stranger. That's not what you said, she said. A traveling through this world of woe. Merrill Lee moved her hand up toward my throat. Then Miss Violet of the Very Spiky Heels tapped her baton again. Everyone went quiet. Merrill Lee, Miss Violet said. Merrill Lee dropped her hand and looked at Miss Violet. Her cheeks flushed into a color you could only see in television cartoons. Merrill Lee, said Miss Violet, I didn't send Holling up there so that you could flirt with him. Well, the look that came over Merrill Lee's face was the look you'd have had if you'd wanted the earth to open up so that you could jump in and no one would see you again forever and ever. Her mouth opened, and her eyes opened, and her nostrils opened. Even the freckles across her nose got a whole lot bigger. Miss Violet tapped the baton again, and we started to sing. Yes, we're all dodging, 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 dodging. Yes, we're all dodging away through the world. I tried not to show anything when Merrill Lee put her foot on top of mine and pushed down as hard as she could, which, let me tell you, teaches you something about a world of woe, and dodging too. I guess it was her way of getting back at me, by stepping on my foot. And that is number 2. The next hour was gym, when we ran laps around the track with the grade 8s, who all smelled smoky, especially Doug Switek's brother. Hood hood, called Coach Quattrini. You call that running? The quality of mercy doesn't drop much from gym teachers. The reason I wasn't running well was because Merrill Lee had kept pushing down on my foot for all of going down the road feeling bad, and almost all of worried man blues. And if it's possible for there to be internal bleeding on a foot, then that's what mine was doing. Pied ninny, I said, not loud enough for Coach Quattrini to hear me, but loud enough for Doug Switek's brother, who was running just behind me, to hear me. What does that mean? He said, coming up beside me. What? He slowed down to match my limp. Pied ninny, what does that mean? Come on, said Doug Switek's brother. It means, you don't know? It means someone who's so stupid he's eaten all these pies and gotten really sick. Sick like he's going to throw up all over himself. that sick. And that's number 3. It was the best I could do while limping along with internal bleeding. That's it, he said. That's it, I said. Thanks, he said, and ran ahead, the scent of cigarette smoke lingering in the air. That afternoon, after everyone had left for Temple Beth El or for St. Adalbert's, Mrs. Baker handed me a test on the Tempest. And how many questions were on that test? 150 questions. So that's number 4. Let me tell you, Shakespeare himself couldn't have answered half these questions. Show me what you've read and understood, said Mrs. Baker. I sat down at my desk and picked up my pencil. And Mr. Hoodhood, she said, there isn't a single question there about the Caliban curses, presuming, as I do, that you have mastered those already. That's the teacher gene at work, giving its bearer an extra sense. It's a little scary. Maybe that's how people decide to become teachers. They have that extra sense, and once they have it, and know that they have it, they don't have any choice except to become a teacher. I got down to work. Overhead, the scurrying sounds of Caliban and Sycorax across the asbestos tiles accompanied the scratching of my pencil. I handed the test in 5 minutes before the end of the day. Mrs. Baker took it calmly, then reached into her bottom drawer for an enormous red pen with a wide felt tip. Stand here and we'll see how you've done, she said, which is sort of like a dentist handing you a mirror and saying, sit here and watch while I drill a hole in your tooth. The first 4 were wrong, and she slashed through my answers with a broad swath of bright red ink. It looked like my test was bleeding to death. And that is number 5. So the story will continue in the next video.